All yours.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Quality Matters. We are still at the Doug Mid-Continent Conference. By the time this airs, it's going to sound like we were there for like 4 weeks.
Yes. It was 2 days.
Here with Kyle, still, as
Yes.
always. And now we have another guest, Hunter Davis.
Yes, ma'am. Hunter Davis with Davis Arial Solutions.
Okay. So I'm not really sure what you do. Drones, I think, is what the guys have told me.
And in the gist of it, yes.
Okay.
So what we do is Davis Arial Solutions on the oil field side. We can do pipeline litigation, covering what the project looks like before, during, and after pipes being laid, which will help with the litigation side on the recovery of the property, and if the landowners come up to fight with that, saying it's not done right.
Hold on, we're going to have to start over. I think you're going to have to talk up a little
Okay,
bit.
sorry.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. He's on 3. I can pull his up a little
You're
bit.
going to have to do that. We're going to do this
Okay,
all
all right,
Sorry.
sorry.
No, we're good. Stop.
Can you keep my intro so I don't have to do that?
Just do it again. It's easier.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Quality Matters. I'm your hostess, Darcy Chambers.
I'm Kyle Chambers.
We're still at the Doug Mid-Continent Conference. Really, it's only 2 days, but it's going to sound like it's weeks by the time we release all our podcasts.
Yep.
We're here with Hunter Davis,
Hunter Davis, yes, ma'am.
Davis Arial Solutions.
That is the company. Yes, ma'am. We do drone work for the oil field and all other industries.
Okay. So
just-
you started to
okay.
tell us a little
Yeah.
bit.
So
Yeah.
what do you do with drones? Are you? This isn't just for fun, right? This
Right. No, this isn't just for fun. This is all our pilots are Part
Be honest,
107.
do you ever just take it up for fun, do a little trick or something?
Oh yeah. When we have off time, yeah. We got to train,
Oh,
so
yeah,
keep
yeah.
up to date with our flights.
Got to train.
Yeah. So for the most part on the oil field, we do pipeline litigation, go out before, during, and after capture. It gives the property owners, what they're seeing afterwards versus what they're saying. If they have any problems, like my land didn't get reclaimed or didn't grow back the way it was supposed to, this way it
Okay.
allows the oil company to
So
say,
like
well,
when
this
they-
is what
when
we
they go and
did.
dig a pipeline through someone's
Exactly,
property,
right.
way you
This is
make
all
sure
midstream.
everything- Okay.
For sure. The other deals, we can do leak detection. We have thermal capabilities on our drones, so natural gas leaks. Usually it's easier to see from pipelines on especially crude where it seeps out, and it's easier to see with HD instead of thermal. You can see it with the thermal, but you're going to see the dead vegetation and everything just as quick.
Wow, that's interesting.
So, yeah.
Because the thermal was a big thing, right?
I mean,
when it came out.
It is, and it's still, especially with gas. I mean, you can see it great. And besides the oil field side, my company, we also work with biologists and work in the wildlife management side.
Oh, really?
So we use the thermal a lot there, and it gets a lot of good use.
Like what? Checking game count?
Yeah,
or- okay.
so we do game counts, and that allows the biologist to do a formula to give out how many tags they're going to give out for that
So if
wildlife
my county
management
gets
area.
dropped down to a 1-buck county, I know who to blame.
That's my fault.
All right.
Yeah. So. Don't come looking at me though, right?
That's something I just learned about because we were looking up parks in Texas. We're out of Houston, and
That's
so
where I'm
he
from,
went,
too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he went. I know that I guess the state parks have the wildlife management hunts,
Mm-hmm.
and so he said, well, look at the buck counts because I'll tell you,
Yeah,
know,
if
that
it's
there's
good.
a bigger
Well,
population.
this year's been pretty good too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the deer are looking really well.
Oh well, we might have to have an off-mic conversation about where to
Here we go. And so other things we do too as well. I partner with another company and we do 3D modeling of like well sites, for example.
really?
We can go in and I'll do all the aerial capture side. And what that does, they'll render up a model of, say, if it's a pump jack or whatever asset you're wanting to capture. We can capture it. You can pull it up on your iPad or on your phone, zoom in, and you can see it. What all is working there. It gives you information points, tells you who's ran that equipment, what the checklists are, what any pertinent information they need to add.
with your drone.
I just capture it and then I send that data off, and
Okay.
it gets rendered. Takes about 5 to 10 days, and it's rendered up, and they have a model, basically a virtual reality model they can see.
It's amazing.
It's like
what
you're
they
just
can
there.
do.
It is.
I learn more every day because I'm not really. Kyle drugged me into this kicking and screaming, and we got a little
A little background noise.
something rolling in the hallway.
Keep
So
thinking it'll get quieter.
when we come to these things, I talk to people. I learn more and more, so it's really
Yeah.
cool. At the beginning, you started to say your pilots are all.
So we're all Part 107 certified. All our drones are.
What does that mean?
The Part 107 is a commercial. We're legally commercial, or let's see the way to say it. We're licensed to fly commercially.
Okay.
With the drones, so for hire, for profit.
Okay.
Also, the pilots that we currently have right now are at least private pilot. I myself am I'm a commercial aircraft pilot, and
Wow.
it really helps because we use the same regulations, same laws. We have to know airspace. We have to have the waivers, so it really helps to have a working,
Now,
Uh-oh.
I'll cut this little section out probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hart Energy's 2019
It's the oil gods.
Conference Exhibition, the region's premier upstream industry event. Please take your seats. The conference will begin soon.
And that, so I'm gonna bet most folks listening to this don't, and I only know just a little. So what restrictions are there for drones? Because you can buy these things at Walmart,
Yeah.
but they don't have restrictions. Why do you have restrictions?
Because we're flying commercial. Of course, we're part one, so we're doing this for hire. There's a lot of guys out there that can go out and not do it. I mean, the FAA isn't extremely strict, which I'm banking on sooner or later that's going to change, it's just like aviation. It goes from real lax to real strict really quick. But for us, the restrictions, if we want to fly at night, we have to get a waiver for that. If we want to fly within a certain area of, say, if it's a Class Bravo airspace or a big airport, we're very limited, and we're at the mercy of the FAA to give us waivers to fly in those areas. But since we are pilots and everything, we have a pretty good working relationship with the FAA.
Yeah, I
And
was
you get a
gonna
little
say,
bit of
'cause
money
I would
how to
have-
work with it.
Right.
And I would have no idea, like, am I in the airspace? How do I?
Well, and
but-
DJI and a lot of the drones, the manufacturers, they have part of the software will let you know, hey, you're within 2 miles of an airport, you need to fly with caution, or you need to
really?
advise, do you have permission to fly here? And that's good. So most of the equipment,
cool.
commercial-wise nowadays, helps you, but. It's better to have a good, profound knowledge of the airspace and check yourself beforehand, and you're not relying on the automation side of things.
Do y'all ever do like any type of structural inspections or anything like that?
Mainly, it's the 3D modeling, I guess, would be kind of like that,
Okay.
but I don't get into anything with engineering too much or like
Gotcha.
surveying because they got a lot of lawyers that can get really mad about that. So we try to stay in our lane, but
that makes sense. But stick to what you do.
for sure, there's definitely companies out there that are doing that.
Well, I want to go back to what you first mentioned, the property litigation, because if I understand my sister correctly, she is a lawyer, and I think she's corporate oil and gas. So I think she tries to get property to lay the pipeline or the not the property, the waiver. What is the word?
Right-of-ways.
The
or
right-of-ways, I
yeah.
think. Yeah. So I guess that's something that you help with.
So kind of what I do is, say like an oil company will come in or a pipeline company wants to come in and they're running their pipe. We'll do beforehand when they acquire the land, they've already done their surveys. We'll go fly the coordinates that they give us, and basically that shows a before everything, and then we'll go during the process as they're
To
laying
show
pipe
you're
and
laying it
everything.
where you said you're going to.
And that's when, and at the completion date, when they start testing and everything like that, we'll go ahead and start the clock. They have a year for the reclaim. So when you come back later, a year later, we'll fly it, and it'll show, where they've taken the topsoil off, where they've reseeded, and what the difference is in those. And basically, like I've had a case to where it came back, a landowner wanted to sue because the topsoil, he didn't let them reseed, and everyone else on that pipeline let them reseed. So everybody else's looked great. It's only that one landowner. Well, that's the one landowner that was filing a lawsuit saying, hey, my land's not looking right, blah, blah, blah. Came back to bite him in the butt because
And
they're
now
like,
that
no.
they have
You have
evidence
proof.
you need.
You got timestamps and
And
I
you've
like
got
it.
every other landowner's.
yes. So
Yeah.
you're running right down the pipe, regardless whose land it's
Right.
going through and leased on. So yeah, that can protect them as well. But
There's just so many interesting aspects to oil
There
and
is.
gas.
There is.
So this is just a nosy question. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
answer if you don't want to. I'm curious how much these commercial drones cost versus, a $50 one I might buy my son.
well,
for-
so it's really the platforms aren't too much. The actual drone themselves, it depends. Like you can get a 4-rotor Inspire from anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 just base. But your payloads, you get into LiDAR and the software to use it, you can run up into $300,000, $200,000
Oh, wow.
really quick. And same thing with fixed wing drones. They can get very expensive very quick, but for the most part, you can do a lot with like the Matrice 600 Pro, which is an 8-rotor drone, and the Inspire 2 series. You get about 20 on the Inspire 2s. You get about 20 minutes of flight time, and for a thermal setup on one of those, you're looking at probably $20,000 setup. But
Wow.
you know, it's
It's
a
an
lot of
investment.
technology. It's an investment for
it's an
sure.
investment.
But they're very easy to fly. They're very easy to learn and pick
Well,
up.
so you've got licensed pilots doing
Right.
it anyway.
Exactly. And they're GPS locked too, so it's very stable. You let off the controls, it
Oh,
stops
and it
itself
really
right where
does.
it's at.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
That is cool.
And so if you have wind or crosswinds,
Uh-huh.
they maintain that positive control on their own. So
Oh wow, so it's worth the extra money.
oh yeah, and they do a good job. So
So if it's, I mean, I know 20 minutes is a long time for a drone, but I'm thinking these pipelines
oh
are
yeah,
super long.
huge.
So how do you handle that?
Well, you get different drones. Like I said, the fixed wings, some of the fixed wings can stay up for a couple of hours at a time, which you run into line of sight problems with that. On drones Part 107, you have to maintain a positive line of sight without visual aids, okay? So on the Matrice, you get about 45 minutes. If you're running 25, 30 miles an hour running down the line, you can get to the next checkpoint, and then we'll land, load up a new battery, check the optics, do a good checklist, pick her right back up, fly down to the next point, pick her up again, and we kind of daisy chain it.
So how long are some of these pipelines that y'all are checking?
So the last one that I did, I tried to keep them smaller. Obviously, I don't want to do hundreds of miles with that because you just can't compete with aircraft on that.
Right.
But the smaller new pipes, like sections that they really want to check out 15 miles at a time. I mean,
Okay.
that's
It's
a
more
day
economical
job.
to get someone like you
Yes.
than
Right.
grab it-
Now, if
grab
you're
it
doing
like-
long DOT lines, that you can get aircraft to check that for like literally nothing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, we're more. Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Harp Energy's 2019 Doug Mid-Continent Conference and Exhibition, the region's premier upstream industry event. Please take your seats. The conference will begin soon.
Yeah, and we're back.
All right. So, remind me where we're.
You were
You
talking about the
short-
aircraft.
Okay, yeah. So the shorter lines are more beneficial to us, but when we do it, it's all recorded. It's all there. Usually, like DOT check lines and everything that the aircraft do, they just see it and they're like, okay, you have a problem here at this area. You need to check it out. There's no real,
There's no continuous
yeah.
footage.
And their liability is a lot higher too, because you got people in an aircraft and there's liabilities there, especially flying lower. But yeah, and where we really shine is the 3D capture and doing the modeling. That's where I'm really in right now. So
Yeah, I guess that's where the LiDAR comes into play.
yes, yeah, and that'll come in, especially on topo type stuff. If you're wanting to get elevations and like on an area, prospecting area, that's a good way to get it pretty quick. So,
That's
but
fascinating.
So how did you get into this?
I actually, believe it or not, I went to Oklahoma State and graduated from their aviation program. And while I was there doing my flight training, my instructor flew UAVs in Afghanistan as a contractor. And when he came back, he became my instructor and was telling me all about what these, back then it was Tiger Shark drones. And he was telling me what all they could do, and that it was fixing to be legal in the States to fly for commercial use. And so from there on out, I really got into it, and one thing led to another. Bought one drone, that led to the next drone, and got into the oil and gas side and the wildlife management, and it's
Very cool.
been going. So
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah.
You have any other questions?
No, I think that's it. This is all. It's all fascinating. Again, it's just like you said. It's amazing.
It's all
how
new.
Many avenues there are. to
Yeah,
go
it's
into.
well. I mean, just in
Yeah.
agriculture, crop dust.
Yeah.
I mean, literally anything you can think of, drones they're doing it.
They're there and they can do it.
And it's going to get heavily automated before too long.
Oh, I can imagine.
where
Now,
they're
I wonder
running
how
on
that's
their
gonna
own.
Affect the licensing, the legal requirements if it's
I know.
once it's
Well,
automated.
the amount of proposed drones they're going to have in the next upcoming future versus the actual pilots to control them, I mean, it is outrageous, the ratio. There's like no pilots by the amount that they're saying that's going to be in the industry and flying. So a lot of that's going to maintain a lot of automation, people, running the automation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but you'll see a lot of cool
So,
stuff.
So if you're a young person listening, looking for
Yes.
a career, look into piloting
into it.
drones.
That'd be the way to go.
It's
Awesome.
there.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, thank y'all
Been a
so
lot of fun.
much.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Thank you.
have a good one.
Uh-huh.